I'm Ashley AuBuchon-Arcand, and I'm ready to help you level up your career and life. Through my speaking, coaching, and training services, we are going to unleash your potential so you can be the best you.
Hey, Cody, thank you for having me. I just want to say I cannot hear you right now. So I did hear the.
Nobody could hear me.
Okay, well, let's go then.
Well, hello everybody. How are you? Great to see you. I'm excited to have my friend Ashley AuBuchon-Arcand here. Ashley helps me overcome my technical difficulties, I guess. I was really cognizant to mute that mic and not to unmute it. Anyway, Ashley, thanks for coming.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. So Ashley, who are you?
All right. Well, you said my name, Ashley AuBuchon-Arcand. I know it's a mouthful, so I appreciate you getting it right. I am here in Holly Springs, North Carolina. I am actually from Missouri originally, but I've been all around the United States. Within my career, I work at IBM during the day as a transformation leader, focused on strategy and culture change and driving business transformation at scale with AI. And then also the other part of my job is connecting with humans at a human level, outside of not just talking about technology, but how we can be better humans to each other and for each other, and grow and learn from each other. So I'm excited to be here to talk about that aspect of my experience and what I like to share with others.
Awesome. So tell me an interesting fact about yourself other than the human connection.
Okay. So I think one of the things that I really believe is important is creating spaces and communities for people to show up as their true, authentic self. And in doing that, it could be the neurodiversity community. It could be, any racial or and any type of person to be able to just show up and be who they are and be comfortable. And being an ally for especially like our neurodiversity community at IBM, I've realized that I also am differently abled, and I wear hearing aids as part of, I have a hereditary hearing impairment in both of my ears. And so I like being open about that and sharing that with people, because I think the moment you kind of let your guard down and share your vulnerability and share who you are, then more people feel comfortable that they can share, what makes them them. And it's not really disabilities, right? It's differently abled people coming together, and they have a lot of strengths and skills that they can share based on their experience with their different, the way they are.
Yeah. So our very first Speakers Collaborative, we had Matthew Schwab on, who is a man who has Down syndrome, but he will tell you that's not all he has.
Exactly.
And something that I learned from Matthew was, and you know Matthew as well, something I learned from Matthew is we should, as people without Down syndrome, we should search for those with Downs and hire them, because they're some of our best employees. And so, I encourage everybody, if you have not had that conversation with yourself or your place of work, you should go to the Speakers Collaborative YouTube page and watch Matthew's talk from 2023, and then check out his other talks. And if you're not convinced, then you probably will never be in for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. And I know Matthew, I met him through his mother. She and I connected. My daughter also has Down syndrome. So I'm a big advocate in the Down syndrome community. And there are so many amazing programs that our people with Down syndrome go through to get the skills to be able to go out and be in the workforce and make a living. And it really gives them so much purpose. And it also changes the lives of everyone who they come in contact with. So yes, I agree. Definitely check out Matthew's talk and really get to know some people with Down syndrome. They are magical.
That's right. I'm getting a little feedback from your mic.
Okay.
That's better. Okay. All right. So you were in the Speakers Collaborative with us in May, this last May here in Cary, North Carolina. What was your takeaway from being part of our group?
It came at a great time for me. So my background is I've been teaching classes around business communication and advocating for yourself and for others for a decade. And I do keynote speeches and speaking engagements and training sessions with different teams. But especially since COVID times, none of those have been in person on a stage. And a lot of them are sitting here at this desk, virtually like this. And so I was looking to kind of grow a little bit, put myself out there, challenge myself to do a 15-minute talk, pretty much monologue, right? Without interacting with other people. And I wanted to get some content around that. I wanted to be able to have something that I could share with others for a couple of reasons. One, so that I can show others this is the type of topic that I will come and talk to your team or at your event about. But second is I really believe in the message that I was sharing. And I think that when I started teaching the topic, self-advocacy is not selfish, or how to promote yourself or how to advocate for yourself and others, it was 10, 11 years ago. And people were like, wow, no one's ever told me that I should do this. And I think the more and more I share the story and here a decade later, it's actually resonating even more. And I don't know if it's because we're in the era of social media and people are actually starting to put themselves out there, but it is a really important topic. And I was just so excited to be able to collaborate with you at the Speakers Collaborative to get the content and share that message more broadly.
I think nothing makes you a better self-advocate than actually getting on the stage that's built for you. So I love the way you say that. And I think your talk really conveyed that message well. What would you say is your favorite part of the collaborative?
Meeting you and the speakers was really awesome to have this community of people who are brave enough to say, I might not be perfect when I get on stage, but I have something that someone else needs to hear. And just knowing how many people are out there, I truly believe every single person has something to share, whether it's a lesson they've learned or expertise that they have or a struggle that they're going through. Maybe they don't even have the answers to. But if you just put yourself out there and you're willing, again, to be vulnerable, that is one of the best parts of this opportunity with the Speakers Collaborative, was connecting with people who want to share their story.
Absolutely. I say it all the time. Your story has probably been told by somebody else, but not by you. And it definitely hadn't been heard by the people who need to hear it from you. So I think it's great. I love that you were there. I love that you led off. You were the first speaker of the night, and it was great. But now is a chance for you to give us an update. So I'm going to take myself off stage and give you 5, 6, whatever minutes you need. And looking forward to hearing what you have to tell us.
Okay. So over the years, I have taught and talked to and coached tens of thousands of people around business communications training or career coaching. And it's usually people come to me when they're feeling stuck or they're in a rut. They're not sure where they want to go. And this could be because they feel like they're being passed up for opportunities or promotions. It could be that they are considering a career change and they're not quite sure how to do that or what the first step should be. And so what I have found is sometimes we do get stuck and we don't know if we need to change it up or what do we need to do or what even do we want. And so I really think there are 3 questions that you should ask yourself if you are feeling this way. I don't really like the where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because I never know where I'm going to be in 5 years. Each 5-year increment of my career, I never could have predicted where I would have gone. But the first question is, what do you want? And you might say, well, I don't know. That's why I'm having this problem. So what you can say is, what do you want more of? Do you want more opportunities or more responsibilities at work? Or do you want more recognition? Or do you want to get paid more? You want more money? Thinking through that will really help you. And if you're still struggling, maybe take the opposite approach of what do you want less of? Do you want less work and more freedom? Do you want less responsibility, or do you want less? You know you don't want to work on certain types of projects. All of those are questions that you should be kind of using to self-reflect and evaluate what it is you actually want out of your career or your life. The second question is, have you told the people who need to know it and the people who can help you get what you want or need? And so this is, if you work on a team, have you shared with your manager what your goals are and what you'd like to do next, and whether it's a job or maybe you want to learn a new skill or take on a stretch assignment? You cannot make the assumption that they know what you want. You have to say it out loud to them. And then the third question is, have you actually put yourself out there to take on these new opportunities? And you can do this a few ways. You can share lessons learned. You can share your expertise. Maybe you set up a lunch and learn with your team or your organization and say, I just wanted to recap, do a reflection, a retrospective on this project I led, because I think that you can learn from some of the lessons that we learned along the way. Maybe it's you start a newsletter on LinkedIn and you start posting regularly about a topic that you're passionate about. Once you start to put yourself out there and sharing your expertise and sharing what you're interested in and you're passionate about, opportunities are going to start coming your way. People are going to think of you when an opportunity comes up, or they'll think of you when they have a question and they don't know who to go to, but they remember that you are an expert. They can come to you and you can start building better relationships. So those are the 3 questions. If you are feeling stuck in your career or you're not quite sure where you want to go, what your next step is, ask yourself, what do you want? What do you want more of or less of in your life and career? Have you told people who can help you get those things? And the third, have you put yourself out there to really start to show who you are and your skills and the value that you bring? There you have it. Cody's coming in and out. There we go.
Technical difficulties all day. That was great. So I love those 3 steps. You got to know what you want first. And then what did you say step number 2 was?
Have you told the people who can help you get there?
There you go. And then have you put yourself out there?
Right.
Those 3 are really important. And I think for whatever it is that you want to do, I've learned that you can't do it by yourself well, and you can't do it by yourself fast. But the minute you start enlisting other people in your group and your networks and your mentors, you're going to go much further, much faster than you ever thought about.
And I have a story I can share real quickly. Because it goes along with what's happened since our Speakers Collaborative in May. That also is around figuring out what do you want and asking for it. So this is I am a speaker. I do keynote speeches. I've taught classes to 80,000 people around the world and at corporate America or in community organizations, nonprofits. But my day job at IBM, I actually prepare materials and keynotes and stories for our senior executives, our C-suite executives, to deliver at various events. And so I'm sometimes behind the scenes in my day job. But there was a request that came in, a speaking engagement that I knew was actually a great opportunity and something that I was absolutely capable of and I wanted to do. And normally I would just pass on that request to my senior executive and say, who would you like me to tag to do this event? And instead, I remembered what I shared at the Speakers Collaborative, which is funny. It's a lesson I've been sharing for years around advocating for yourself, but it's something that you have to continue to work on and practice and remind yourself of. And so when I got that request, I said, wait a second, this is something I want to do. And I'm just hoping that my leaders will ask me to do it. But why would they ever think of me if I don't let them know I want to do it? So I asked to do it, and my leaders are so amazing. They trust me and they empower me, and they said, yes, we'd love for you to do this as well. And so I ended up speaking live to our sales organization, to over 10,000 people just a couple weeks ago. And it was an incredible opportunity. It was such a great process and experience of preparing for it and delivering it, getting feedback on how I can improve. But just that experience alone, it was so validating that, man, I never would have had that experience had I not asked if I could do it. So I just wanted to share that little story because I really feel like I got even more confidence with the Speakers Collaborative, and I was able to recognize that I wasn't all the way being an advocate for myself.
That's amazing. I love it when we have to take our own medicine. I mentioned in the last talk I gave a year and a half ago, my talk was on knowing your worth. And I mentioned this last time. I actually have people who occasionally in conversations will say, maybe it's time for you to watch your own talk again. So, yeah. It doesn't matter where you are in life. I think most coaches have to take a moment to coach themselves and to give themselves the same advice they would give their clients and their mentees. So I applaud you. First of all, I saw that talk you gave for IBM, and I think that was a major leap for you. I'm glad that you were able to advocate for yourself and not just hope that they asked you to do it. Right.
Yes. It's an amazing story we have of driving transformation at IBM, and we have incredible results, and our team is just so amazing. And I feel very lucky that I was able to help share that story with so many people. It was very meaningful opportunity for me.
That is awesome. So let's talk about just some other things going on. What are you reading these days?
So I finally finished my most recent book. And what's funny is you're going to laugh because as, traveling and everything, I always take the cover off the book and I can't find the cover of my book, but I just finished it. The Geek Way, Andrew McAfee. I don't know if you've heard of it. Welcome to Ashley's book review real quick.
Okay.
The Geek Way by Andrew McAfee is really about companies that are disruptors and the kind of cultures that they have compared to maybe some more industrial era, manufacturing era ways of working. And there are 4 characteristics that they have: speed, ownership, science, and openness. So I'll start with science. Science is using testing and data to make your decisions and not relying on HIPPO, the highest paid person's opinion. So just because someone says we should do this, you need to back it up with science on why you should do it. So that's the first one. Second one is ownership. You don't need to add bureaucracy and layers of management and approvals. How can you make small teams, give them the autonomy to take action and the ownership they need to move quickly? Which brings us to speed. How can you iterate and don't wait for it to be perfect? Progress over perfection. Continue iterating, using feedback from your clients and other stakeholders to understand if you're going the right direction or if you need to course correct. And then the fourth one, openness. Don't be afraid to disagree and really question everything, even if it's the CEO, even if it is your senior leader. Make sure that you're speaking up in those meetings because that's the right thing to do for your business. And that is the type of culture that you want to create. So it was a great book. I really enjoyed it. The Geek Way by Andrew McAfee.
The Geek Way.
Yes.
That sounds amazing. So other than that, what would you recommend people read? It's August. People are finishing out the summer. Any summer reads for fun?
So it's not necessarily a business book. So then good. I consider it fun, but I do have it here. I have actually gifted this to over 10 of my friends. I think mostly women, but honestly, anybody could read it. It's Untamed by Glennon Doyle. It's a bestseller. It's amazing. It's just, I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm just going to say it really changed my life. And it's something that I share with so many people because it just gives you a perspective of, again, showing up as who you are, not who people expect you to be, but just be who you were made to be. And I just really love her. She has a podcast as well. We Can Do Hard Things that I listen to as well. So I just wanted to always recommend Glennon Doyle and Untamed.
I love that. All right. What questions do you have for me?
I guess, what is your favorite part of doing Speakers Collaborative? And so that is kind of 2 points. And then also what gets you up and excited every day? When you get out of bed, what are you excited about? And maybe it's not Speakers Collaborative. Maybe it's something else.
There are some days I'm not excited to wake up to the Speakers Collaborative, but I think that's everybody's lot in life with their chosen career. So the Speakers Collaborative, the thing that I love about it is honestly the way that the speakers, when they come to us, start, and the somewhat nervousness and anxiety, because we don't get people who have been on the speaking circuit for years and years, right? We're taking new people who want to do it and launching them by giving them the content they need. And so we start with, I don't know if I need to be on this stage, these people who don't advocate for themselves, even to themselves, right? And so we then work with them over a series of weeks and conversations and practices. And then to a person, they get on stage and shine. And you can tell when somebody is meant to do that, because the minute their feet touch that stage and the lights are shining and they see some of the audience, because the lights are so bright, they just come alive and they share and their heart opens. And for me, it is each and every time I see a speaker that started with that fear and then at the end are so thankful they did it. To me, that's the most rewarding thing. In fact, that's why I've completely changed the reason I do the Speakers Collaborative. And it used to be so that I could get on stage and that I could get my content. And now I'm not planning on being on stage for the collaborative again. Now it's everybody else's turn. And that's really what I love about it. Which leads into the second question, which is why I wake up every day. And what excites me when I wake up, I think was the question. It's that it is doing everything I can to help other people realize their dreams and their potentials. It starts at home with my girls and my wife, and it ripples out of that. And so if you are one of my clients, my goal for my clients, either in legal or in lobbying or in speaking, my goal is that they realize their dreams and that even if I don't even get a credit, I get to know that I played a part in that. And that is what excites me every single day.
I feel like you are a living example of the self-advocacy journey that I shared in my talk, which is it started off 10 plus years ago as promoting yourself, and it was all about you, and it was all about how do you like get the most money and get the title or the job you want or the opportunities you want. But over the year, it's transformed into it's really about advocacy, and you have to be an advocate for yourself, or then you can start being an advocate for others. And I feel like that's, Cody, that is you by definition of you are being an advocate for yourself and starting Speakers Collaborative. And now you realize the impact and value you bring others. And that is like your new purpose, which is beautiful.
But it's probably the most selfish thing because it gives me the most satisfaction of anything I've ever done. That's what gives me the most satisfaction. So,
but Cody, self-advocacy is not selfish.
That's right. That is right. So actually, if somebody is on the fence, if they have sat in the audience for years, they've seen people on a stage, they've been to a keynote, they've been wherever, and they're just, they just don't think they can live with themselves until they start doing something about it. What would you recommend they do?
I would say there's never going to be a perfect time. Like the perfect time is right now.
Absolutely.
Because we don't know how much longer any of us are going to have to try and put ourselves out there. So like, what are you waiting for, right? Perfect's not going to be here ever. So just try it. The worst that happens is you fail, and any failure is just a learning experience, right? So I say, people ask me all the time, like, how do you assess the risk of putting yourself out there? And there is no risk because you're either going to get closer to where you want to be or you're going to learn from it. So I'd say you have something to share. You have a story to share. Just take the first step to get it out there. It doesn't need to be perfect.
That's right. That's probably the best way to say it. And you know what my tagline these days is, right?
What?
I built a stage. Get on it.
Yes.
Right? What are we waiting for? Why are we still, debating within our own head about whether or not we need to be on that stage? Every person I know that has ever taken that leap of courage has benefited from it. They have realized that they should have done it a long time ago. To your point, do it today. And everybody that they thought was going to be a critic, laugh at them is actually the one they don't care. If they care, they're inspired, right?
Yeah.
And they don't matter.
And I share that in my talk, that also those people you're afraid are going to judge you. Do they really matter? Do their opinions matter? Are their opinions worth you not getting what you want? No way.
Yeah. Ooh, this is good. Hey, anything else you want to tell our viewers today?
Just that I love having these types of conversations, and this is kind of what fills my cup, is helping people get out of their rut and figure out what it is they want. So I'd love to talk to you if this resonates, and reach out to me. My Advocate is a page I have on Facebook. I'm also on LinkedIn, and I share a regular newsletter out there named My Advocate. And that's what it's about. It's just helping each other, because as much as I'm helping other people, whether it's like navigating what their next job is going to be or how they get through a tough situation at work, I learn something in every single conversation, and I get just as much out of it. So I'm looking to connect, whether it is through one-on-one coaching, or if you want me to come in and do a training session around business communications with your teams, or if you have an event coming up and need a speaker, I would love to be considered.
That is awesome. One of the things we provide our speakers as part of the package is what we call a walkie. And I played yours.
You did.
And I'm going to play it again because yours came out really well, and I really love the feel that it gets. And, you know, everybody who comes to the Speakers Collaborative gets a walkie, and they get the full reel, and they get all the content. But really, this is the introduction that you can make in that much time. So I'm going to play us out with that. Ashley, hang out in the waiting room for me. It was really great to talk to you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
All right, thank you.
I'm Ashley AuBuchon-Arcand, and I'm ready to help you level up your career and life. Through my speaking, coaching, and training services, we are going to unleash your potential so you can be the best you.